Oh, hey. Oh, hey, oh. Okay, there, now I can hear myself. Aloha, welcome back. This is the post-game show as the Blues win 6-2. Very interesting, very exciting third period. Waiting for Ashley to join us. James Neal with the hattie. Throw your hat at the radio. Throw your hat at the camera. Yay! Yeah, I know, I'm crazy. So let's talk about this game. Let's talk about some of the things that we were talking about before. And I need to clarify something. I found out that Jake Allen did not play in any postseason games last year. He was the backup, but he did not get in any games. So that was kind of, I thought he did play, but I guess he didn't. Great game for James Neal. Okay, it was an empty netter. Got it, no problem. But he did create that. He created the turnover, so you got to hand it to him for that. James Neal can still play hockey, right? Yes, I know this is the preseason game, but the dude can still play hockey. And if we can get him for 7.5, 750,000 for $750,000 for a year, I'll take it. I will take it. That's a guy that you can use. That's a guy that you can be your 15th forward or your 12th forward. Darkness comes in and says he wants Neal signed right now. I don't know about right now. Still got some stuff out. Ashley's sharing it out. Then she'll hop on. Thank you, Ashley. It's very hard for me to share the post-game show because you never know when it's going to go. So I appreciate that. So let's talk about. So I want to talk about now. You know what? For this post-game show, let's talk about you. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. Let's talk about what you saw. Let's talk about what you think the Blues need to do. The next game's Monday night. Let's see what we got to do, guys. Talk to me. We'll kind of go about a half hour, 45 minutes here and see what we got. Went to the Blues app, clicked on the headphones, still can't listen. Yeah, you had to do it. You had to go from the 101 app. It was these preseason games, the way they do them, it's kind of screwy sometimes. I apologize. I mean, there's nothing that I can do about it, but you can listen to what happened here, or you can read my recap, which I will probably be working on here in just a little bit. What I heard is Saad and Thomas need to be on the same line. Yes, I do think Saad and Thomas need to be on the same line. I agree with that. And I also think that Tarasenko needs to be there. While they were playing together, they were making things happen. Tarasenko, while he didn't score, he got an assist, and an assist was from a shot. He took a quick shot that caused a rebound. The rebound went to Thomas. Thomas made a nifty backhand pass, and Saad just buried it. Saad buried it because he was around the net. So let's bring in my beautiful co-host today, Miss Ashley. Hey, Ashley, how you doing?
I'm good.
Right?
That was an awesome third period.
Interesting third period. Now, there is a negative right off the bat. And this is something that we dealt with a lot the last 2 years. Blowing a 2-0 lead. Right? I'm sorry, they still blew a 2-0 lead, and they've done that a lot. I think that was in the last 2 years the 9th or 10th one. So that is an issue again. Right? And I'll tell you, for me, that issue stems from our type of play. Right?
I agree with that.
The defensive type of play we have allows that teams to get back in games. Now, let's do say this. The first goal that he scored was a laugher, okay? I mean, it trickled in. The goalie, if Husso's in net, that doesn't go in. I'm gonna stand by that. If Husso's
I agree.
in,
It was a total positioning error.
Yeah, well, it surprised him. He thinks he saves it and it drops down and trickles between his legs.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, that's a rookie mistake, right? That's a rookie mistake in my eyes. And then I didn't see the second one, the one that made it, but you said it was a 3 on none. So I don't know how much that is against
I
the
wouldn't really
goalies
put
per
that one
se,
on Lindgren.
right? However, if the defense is going to, I mean, we're seeing this already, and you know, but this is the time to clean that stuff up. Well, you know what? It's been that time to clean it up years ago. Years ago. It's still happening. It's a system. It's system related, right? John says different season, guy. The season hasn't started yet. No, yes, but no, because it's system related. This is a system problem that hasn't been corrected.
I agree with that.
Right? And I'm not getting on Berube. I'm not. I'm just saying that there's an issue in this type of system that causes those type of errors, that causes those 3 on O's, that causes the weak shot to go in, that guys are pushing defense too much that they leave the offense open. Right? And that's something that this being down 2-0 and losing that lead needs to be clean, needs to be addressed immediately in my eyes. Right? And to me, it's a glaring issue. It's not, oh my goodness, we won 6-2. No, it's we blew a 2-0 lead and got lucky and scored the next 4. Right? Or was it 3? 4. Next 4.
They scored the next 4 goals.
Yeah. One was an empty netter. Right?
Doesn't matter. It still counts.
Still, it's true. But that's the way I look at it. I'm seeing that is more glaring to me than the 6 goals. Especially since you scored him against the backup, a guy that hasn't played hockey in 2 years.
Well, if you want to look at it that way, the 2 goals that were scored were against somebody that's 6 goalies down the line.
Okay, so, that's true. That's a good point.
So
and I knew you were coming there.
If you're going to use the backup for them, they're getting right? Like our 6th string. And they could only put in 2.
But at the same time, our guys played hockey. Hammond hasn't. Hammond hadn't played any major league hockey in over 450 days, right? A year and a half, almost 2 years. So a year and a half. So 2 seasons. It's been a while since he's suited up. So, well, I don't know if he's played in the minors. So, I mean, that's something to look at. But that is an issue. So it's something to look at. It's something to think about. And it does, while you say it's time to clean it up, well, it's been time to clean it up for a while, hasn't it?
I'll agree with that.
Right. That's just the way I see it, you know. And remember, hey, guys, this is your show. Let's get it up. Preseason not worth getting so judgmental on the details. See, I disagree with that. I'm sorry. Reason I disagree with that is because if you're going to throw these games away, what makes you think you're not going to throw away regular season games? You have to take, and yes, I know the way they're played, and I understand that, but these are the games where you are supposed to show to get better. You're supposed to get better. If you're still doing the same things that you did last season, you're not getting better. So that's kind of where I'm at. Wrong details then. I'm not sure which details you're talking about there, Martine. Let me know what you're talking about. What's the military saying? Train as you fight. Absolutely. Right? And pay attention to details. Right? Pay attention to details. Those are the things that make you work. And how I know this happened, how I know this, right, is when I broke my wrist. And Chris, I don't remember if you were there or not, but you can talk to some of the guys that were there. When I broke my wrist, one of the first things I started doing was triaging myself. I started saying, this is how I feel. That was my military training. That was training that had been, and I'd never been injured never injured on the ship or in a drill or anything like that. But all of that training got me to the point where when I did have an issue, I knew what to do. Knew I was going into shock. I knew how to handle that. I was talking to the people helping me, telling them exactly what was going on, telling them I felt I was going to upchuck, telling them what hurt, telling them what didn't. That's what training does. Because when it's real time, it's automatic. I know you want to say something. I can just see it. Your turn.
Okay. Well, I mean, we need to analyze these details. I'm not going to take that away. However, we don't need to sweat these details because this is where we work those kinks out. We saw what we did. So game 2, we're going to change something, I hope.
Okay. Well, game 2, you're going to see completely different players. You will see
exactly
nobody that played in this game will play in game 2 on Monday. I almost guarantee that. Maybe one of the defensemen pull double duty, right? Or maybe one of the lower end forwards only played like 7-8 minutes. We'll pull double duty, but for the most part, you're not going to see anything. But sometimes you panic. I do all the time, or I freeze. I think that's coming from Steve Glass, and he's kind of right. You do panic at times, and if your training is really good, you don't, and that's what I'm kind of getting at here, right? So you are right. You are right. We don't need to sweat them, but we do need to be concerned about them.
Yes,
and there's a difference, right? To sit there and say that this was a great game is a bit of a, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, a bit of an overstatement, right?
No, I still enjoyed seeing, the younger guys, seeing what they could do. It was great.
Okay, I agree. I know. Oh, that was Jess. Jess, if you notice when I posted this, there's a little thing that says let StreamYard know that it's okay to use your name, and then your name will show up. So that's why it comes up like that. Sometimes if you're using a different, depending on how you watching, if you're watching it off of the BlueNote fan report page, that might be where it's coming from. If you're watching it directly from my page, you shouldn't have the issue, right? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I see what you're saying, and I'm okay with it, but the 2-goal lead is still an issue, and it's something that needs to be looked at. Not like, oh my God, this is a terrible game because we blew a 2-goal lead. No, it's not a terrible game because they blew a 2-goal lead, but it is an issue that we've seen in the past that's system related, and we need to see what they're going to do to change the system to correct that.
I'll agree with that, but this time what I will say that I liked was the response. They responded immediately.
It's that, you know what? Great point. Absolutely a great point. It's never the goal, it's the answer. It's what the answer what the answer is. And you're right, the answer was there. Barbashev with a snipe, and then James Neal right off the faceoff with another snipe. And that was by a wonderful pass. And I think it was, I want to say it was Thomas that made that pass. Let me get in here and look. I don't think it was
Thomas, but I can't remember.
Bozak.
Yeah.
Bozak who made that pass. Barbashev had so Costa and that for all it, Costin and Barbashev were both involved in that. So that's good to see. Okay, here's let's do, so I've talked about the bad stuff. Let's talk about the good stuff, right? And one of the good things right off the bat is shots. 19 shots in the third period.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that in the first 2 periods? Okay, so they ended up shots ended up being 31-30. Great, but the defensive style play in the first and the second is what led to the 2-0 goal, the 2-0 lead going away.
Yep.
Right? Being more defensive than offensive. If you take more than 11 shots, you're up 3 or 4 to nothing, or 3 or 4 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if you're up 3 to 4 to 1, then you can play that defensive style you want to play. You've got to back off a little bit. Oh, John Hafner just slammed me. Says only guy can find a negative in a 6-2 win.
And this is why I love John.
Well, I mean, I'm not. You got to look for the positive in every win and the negative in every win, and you got to look for the positive in every loss, and you got to look for the negative in every loss. Because if you don't, you will never ever get better.
I agree with that. I think that you need to maybe look at that positive first in the 6-2 win, and then say, but this could have been better. When you jump off and are just like, well, we lost this 2-0 lead and we did, then everybody thinks of you as always negative. Okay, that's a fair enough point. And I get that. However, to me, and I want to be, Martine says not negative area of opportunity. If it was, now Martine, I will say this, yes and no. If this was something that just happened one time or two times, yeah, okay, area we need to clean up on. But the fact that it's been consistent from year to year for the last, for Berube's tenure, actually even beyond Berube's tenure, this has gone back for a while. Giving up 2-goal leads has been an issue for a while, going back to Hitchcock. So this is a mental thing, and that's why it resonates with me so much, right? Had it not been something that we dealt with or deal with all the time, I don't think I'd have jumped on it. But being that I see this pattern developing, and it develops in the very first game, oh my goodness, for me, that's the red flag that's flapping in the wind. Does that make a little bit more sense now? I see it, but I'm a firm believer in the compliment sandwich. Say something good, then bring up the negative, and then compliment again. Okay. Well, I don't know that. I don't know that. I've never had that. I've never got to taste that. But see, oh, look, see, I even got a fair enough. So that's, and this is what I love about the show and the listeners. You guys are willing to listen. And when I say listeners, it's not just somebody screaming at the, you listen to what we have to put out. You listen to me, you listen to Ashley, you listen to Rob, and any of the other number of guests that I've had. Oh, and by the way, this season, Uncle Zook has said that he will come on and do post-game analyst with us. That is awesome. Yeah, he wants to deal. He doesn't want to deal with the locker room stuff. He wants to deal with game analysis, and I'm for that, and we're going to try and get him on as much as we can. Martine says that they love your sandwich idea, and I'm not saying I don't love it. I've just never had it before, so I will try it. You're right. You. That's all I asked for. You're right. A 6-2 win in your first game is very promising. The loss of the 2-goal lead is concerning, being that it's a pattern. Not that it's a one-time thing, that it's a pattern that hasn't been corrected yet. James Neal and Frolic, your PTOs who have come in and immediately assimilated into the culture and have shown that they can help, means that you probably have 1 to 2 guys that are guys that can come in and out of the press box if need be. Right? Now, these guys know their roles now. They know that they're going to be in the press box. They're going to spend time in the press box. They're not going to go down to the minors, but they're going to spend time in the press box. Both of them know they're not going to get more than the league minimum. They got to know that. If you're signing a PTO this late, that's what you're getting, the $750,000, right? Oh, so Mary Ann says a plus, we are gelling players. You know, I seen that. I did see that. I saw
A majority of the Blues, and when I say a majority, I'm saying at least 10 to 15 of them were working out on a regular basis with other professionals at Centene on an almost daily basis during the week, right? The guys that you saw out there today that were gelling were guys that were out there working out. Pareko, Sanford, Costin was out there a couple of times. Neighbors was out there. Perunovic was out there. And some of the others I saw. So you saw this willingness to do these player only practices, right? Not league mandated, wanting to get out to get better. You saw that, and that actually it was evident today that these guys have been playing together a lot longer than 2 days.
I agree.
So that is something that I saw, that I saw, or I can't say saw, but heard while we were going, right? Shockley says, I think it's a pattern of the players. Kids don't get taught to step on the jugular anymore. You know what? I wish I could go there and say that, but this is something that you come back. I mean, we've been seeing it since the Hitchcock era. Every defensive coach we've had have had this issue. And a defensive coach wants to win a game 2-0, 2-1, 1-0. They don't want to win a game 3-4, 4-3, 6-5, 5-4. They don't want those games, right? And because they don't want those games, they teach this style, and my light just went out on me, so I got to change batteries here. They teach this style of once you get a lead, you'll stop shooting. And that's what we saw. That's absolutely what we saw. They got the 1-0 lead, they stopped shooting. They got the 2-0 lead, they stopped shooting. It was 2-1, they stopped shooting. They didn't start shooting until the game was tied up.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they switched over and started shooting. Well, if they'd have started shooting a lot more in the first and second, we may have never gotten to that point. So that's my thing. I'm going to grab my light. I'll let you talk for a second there, Ashley, while I get my battery.
Okay. I mean, I agree with Guy there. But at the same time, you got to look at the answer. They had a response, and that is what impressed me, was there was a response. Last season, there were many games that we didn't respond, even when we were behind, especially in the playoffs. So I see that as an improvement. I also saw a lot of the younger guys stepping up. Like, you could tell that Neighbors had put in his own money to be here. You could tell that Joshua really wants to make the team, and those were all positives. So instead of just looking at the negative, we can look at those two. And I'm afraid if I try to pull the chat to see what you guys are saying, I'm going to lose you all. But here we go. Yes, Marianne, it was reported that all of our guys are vaccinated. Chris Shockley, I don't want to win 6-5 either. 10-0 would be great.
Better? Got my light back. Covered up one side, but Marianne says, I think we're bonding as a team. And you know what? I see that too. I don't want to win 6-5 either. I want to win 10-0. That's not going to happen, but I'd like to see it. Another question, are all our guys vaccinated? Yes, they are. That I know. That I do know. Everybody on our team.
I was able to answer that one.
Okay, everybody on our team is vaccinated.
Whenever I pull up the chat to see what they're saying, whenever I try to get out of it, I lose everything and I get kicked out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a StreamYard thing that I know they're working on. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Devin Dayton, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Every time you guys do that, it just lets me know that you enjoy what we're doing here for you today. So thank you so much. Don't forget to put those thumbs in the air. So Martine says, I love Ashley's positivity. I appreciate it about you. You balanced guy, and we need you on these live streams. Well, actually, normally, see, that's what Rob's job is, but it's me balancing Rob because Rob's the one that's always negative.
Yeah, and since Rob isn't here, you're negative, and I have to be positive.
Yeah. Well, it's not that I'm negative, and I don't want everyone to think I'm being negative. I see something that needs to be fixed.
Yes.
Right? If I don't mention that there's now, look, would I be giving you a service if I sat there and blew sunshine and rainbows up your crack all the time instead of saying, hey, this is an issue I see and it's something we need to look out for?
I think that sometimes, Guy, you see that issue and you just stab it though, and you make it worse. And it just doesn't need to be fixated on that much.
Fair enough. And maybe you're right, but when you're probably gonna hate what I write because I'm gonna write about it. And maybe that's a fair point. That's a fair point, and I'll accept that. And here's a good one. We need to fix it before we are in January and fighting for a playoff spot.
I agree with that.
And absolutely. So, but if you're not right now, let me say this: if that was not brought up, right, and really, I didn't see anybody else bring it up. Oh, Chris is backing me up here. Military thing. If it wasn't brought up, no one would think about it, right? And really, that's the thing. It does need to be brought up. Maybe I'm beating a dead horse, and I get that. But what I'm trying to say, I want people to understand why I'm reacting or talking about it the way I am talking about it, because I could sit here and go, I could sit here and talk about James Neal's hat trick. Absolutely. I mean, I already threw my hat at the camera, right? You missed that one. James Neal's hat trick. Frolik getting that late goal, completely surprising Hammond with seconds remaining. The fact that they came back so quick. Barbashev answered right away. Neal answered right away. All right. And then Marianne goes, I can remember last year when we talked about it. So it's that's where I'm getting at. We could talk about that, and that's great. But what happens Monday? Same thing happens again, right? And what happens Monday if they lay an egg? We need to look at it by talking about them now. It makes us better viewers and better, more knowledgeable about what we see and how we watch and listen to the game.
I don't disagree with that. I really don't. But I almost feel like, how when you get a little hole in your shirt, instead of grabbing the needle and thread, I feel like you play with that hole until you rip your shirt to shreds.
Well, I did that with a pair of pants while I was in St. Louis at the alumni event.
I'm not surprised.
Didn't even realize they were ripped. Somebody come up and said, "Hey, do you know you have a hole in your pants?" I said, "Yeah, it's just for my wallet." And I reached back there and realized it was all the way up. I mean, my pants is split right down. Yeah. So I didn't even realize. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Luckily, I had the jersey to cover it up till I could get some new pants. And Marianne's kind of backs me up. See who fixes it in the locker room and how. That's a good point, right? My question is, are they going to look at it as an issue?
I'm afraid they're not, because it's a Berube style. It's his system. And I'm not knocking Berube, but they don't want to make him change it, and he's not going to change it on his own. Yeah. Maybe that's why they brought in Hitchcock, but he had the same mentality of defense first, wear the team down. And we need to get away from that.
Yeah, we do. We need to use that speed. We need to use the speed that we have. We need guys shooting the puck. You cannot wait to the third period to take 19 shots.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, you got lucky that you were leading in the game, But you also could have easily, this could have easily gone 6-4, 6-2 the other way.
Could have.
The answer helped. And hey, Jess, will you tell everybody where that is at? Tomorrow is the fun walk for Haley. I know it's in a park in St. Charles. If you want to put the link there, Jess, I will show it up here on the screen. So everybody, if you're in St. Louis, go to the fun walk tomorrow. Go out there, support them. It only costs a few dollars. You donate it. It goes to the PH Association. The mask that I'm selling, this mask that we're trying to get auction off. Everything's going to the PH Association. So please, go out there and support this. We had a wonderful event at the, here we go. It is at 370 Lakeside Park in St. Peters, and it's free. Yes, it's free to walk, but you should donate some money to help it out and let them know. And Chris Shockley says, sometimes the hole needs to be bigger before people get the hint that it needs to fix.
Touche.
I love it. But you know what, guys? No, I'm not a negative Nelly. I'm not. I'm really not. It's just when something glares, it's like I say that the Blues fans are blinded by the cup. I'm blinded by a 2-goal lead going away again. Does that make sense?
Fair enough.
Right. And Martine says, I look forward to Guy and the team being part of my season this year. And I hope she said, keep it up. Well, we keep up the great work. Well, we appreciate that. We really do. We want to keep up the great work. We want this to get shared out. We want people to join us. You make the show. I don't make the show. You make the show. You all your comments make the show. And yes, you are. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Andrew. I guess I'm in trouble now. I probably said something wrong. Oh, I'm a negative Nelly. Andrew's slamming me saying I'm a negative Nelly. No, Andrew, I'm not. I'm a realist. I call myself a realist because I see the real things that need to be taken care of. Right? So why am I not? John says maybe wearing down defensively works for opening up in the third period. That's a fair point. Except I don't think that you're gonna beat most teams that way. You're gonna beat. Go ahead.
I'm with you. I'm shaking my head at what he said. Okay. I don't think that we would beat teams that way. You give them an opening.
Yeah, this works. That works. That works if you get the lead first. If you get a lead and you hold it, yes, no, I'm a negative Nancy. No, I don't think I'm a negative Nancy, Andrew, but we can talk about it. You got to look at both sides, good and bad, right? You got to look at both sides. And this wearing teams down only works if you get a lead and you can continue to hold the lead. Now, did they wear Minnesota down? I will probably say yes, they wore Minnesota down, right? But at the same time, let's remember, this is our Wild friend was on in the second period, and he said they didn't have many NHL talent in this lineup. So we gave up a 2-goal lead to an AHL team. That's something to think about. Now, I am concerned with pulling Husso as early as they did, right? The only thing that I can say is they saw enough good from him. They didn't think that they wanted to see more from the other guy. And I can't remember his name, right?
It's Lindgren, Charlie Lindgren.
Lindgren, yeah, Charlie Lindgren. They sang more from Lindgren. Needed to see more from Lindgren. And if that's the case, I'm fine. No issues. But Lindgren let in one crappy goal, one good one. So it's something to look at.
I still wouldn't give up on him, but I think you're right that there's more talent in front of him anyways. So we want to give him these opportunities because he's probably not going to get it during the season.
You know what? Absolutely right. It's the first preseason game. Everyone's sucking wind. Yeah, but I don't think we were sucking wind. I saw that. We didn't look tired out there. In fact, as the game wore on, the fact that they've been playing together, showed. It showed. They were cohesive. They were a cohesive unit, even with all the youngsters in there and the older guys. They were a cohesive unit working together. So that's why they won this game. That's absolutely why they won this game, because they've been, a lot of those guys, including Barbashev. I forgot to mention him. Barbashev had been at the practices I watched. Right? These guys were working together. Because these guys were working together, Thomas, Barbashev, Tereshchenko, Neighbors, Prunovich, and a few others. Bozak. Bozak was there. Yeah. Right? Bozak was there. So all these guys that were there working together. And then you have Neil and Forlick, who are both 13 and 15-year veterans, respectively. They're going to show you how to win a game the right way. I just would prefer not to give up the 2-goal lead. Right? Yeah. And so I did see a lot of good. So we're coming up. We're over that 30-minute mark. I don't want to go much longer. Said in the preseason, we got to get informed too, right? But I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up tonight, for watching the show, for sharing it out, for talking to us. I'm Guy for Ashley. You got to know that we're bleeding blue with you, and we can't wait to see you day night on the next Blue Note Fan Report. Aloha!